Alright, welcome back to Only Divergences. Here we focus only on technical analysis and more importantly those high probability divergent momentum patterns. So before we start, as always, a big thank you for watching this video and liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be here with you as we navigate these markets together, so let's get to it. Today is Friday, September 24th, 2021. The trading week is over. It is 7:53 p.m. I apologize, I've been very busy today, but I will be putting out a number of videos over the weekend, so subscribe to make sure you do not miss out. We had a good week, especially with that Robinhood trade, which looks like it was timed perfectly, and even profits were taken perfectly as well, considering it pulled back after. You can watch the video where I outline that by clicking on the link on the top right. I talked a lot about meat on the bone, and in the coming weeks, when we have more of these, 400% plus trades, I will be using that language to discuss managing emotions and, more importantly, expectations. It is so important in this high stakes game. I know a few of you took profits as well and made a killing, so hey, let's keep it up next week, okay? Today we are updating Coinbase Global and Bitcoin. Take a look at the last update, which was about a week ago. I'll put a link in the top right so you can just click on that and watch that video. We were bearish on the stock and the cryptocurrency as well, as we did not see any clear, optimal, bullish divergence setups. That's 99% of what we are looking for. So generally, if we do not have that, we do not take action. So let's take a look at what's happened since, starting off with Coinbase. As always, we start off on the weekly. Not really much to say here. This is not presenting strong material bullish pattern on the weekly, and that's all we really need to do here before we move on to the daily. Okay. So, we did not have an optimal entry last week as we gapped lower, and I think that the current pattern is pretty much the same. We had a non-impulsive move higher after the gap down, and then we had an impulsive move lower. You can see slowly 3 days, and then boom, boom, gap. So big reversal and then gap. And again, we only have to ask if the daily pattern is showing material potential for a strong bullish divergent pattern. With a MACD negative here, now in negative territory with a negative histogram, and sloping down, and more importantly, not divergent, we cannot say with confidence that this is an optimal long entry setup. I want to point out, however, that this $220-ish area here has been support, and we are coming down to this level. Unless we get a collapse in the price of Bitcoin, I would imagine that this level holds, or at least we get a nice tradable bounce. But again, we have to cross that bridge only when we get there. But more importantly, given the lack of material bullish setup on the daily, any bounce will likely be small and only visible on the hourly or even lower than that. Look, I want to be as objective as possible, and as responsible, mature, patient, prudent investors, we have to manage our emotions and be open to all possibilities, even those that we don't want to happen. Investing is a marathon and should be treated as such. Now, I'm not going to go onto the hourly because I don't think we need to do it at this time. Look, if we get to 220, I might put out a video. But more to the point is that we have to get to Bitcoin itself. As always, we start off with a weekly. Let me just pull up Bitcoin here. We start off with the weekly. And all I can say about this is the same thing we said last week. It's been consolidating after a strong bullish move higher. We can see this was the big bull run. We had a collapse, we had a bounce, and now we're consolidating. This is just consolidation, right? But I want to point out that this move, the big bullish move higher and then the pullback, is very similar to what it did in 2017, 2018. See, huge move, then pullback and consolidation. There's really not much else to say here. I mean, the bearish divergence that I pointed out here, you can see the momentum high and then a lower subsequent momentum high. It remains in place. And so there's not much else we can say here on the weekly time frame. On the daily time frame, We can see that since last week's video, Bitcoin is down $4,000 to $5,000, around 10% or what have you. It looks to have found some support around the 200-day moving average, this orange line here, which didn't really find support when it was down here. But again, it has broken this trend. See, this is a nice, it had a small little minor, little medium-term trend here, and it broke it. It's trying, broke it, trying, broke it. And, we can say that it's now coming down. More importantly, we do not have bullish divergence on the daily. A previous lower low. We can see the MACD is making an initial low. And if we move lower, then that will continue on with the low. So when we ask ourselves the important question, is the current pattern one that is presenting an optimal entry to go long? We have to answer it in the negative. So that's all I can say at this point. Look, if we go to 220, I'll do an update and take a look at the lower levels and also the after hours, because that does show some potential sometime, but I'll likely update this in a week regardless. Thanks for sticking around until the end, watching, liking, and subscribing, and I will see you later. Take care.